Hello, everybody. Adam Parks here with another episode of Receivables Roundtable. Today, I am here with my friend Nick Arcaro, because I'm going to say it right. Nick is with Vertican Technologies and is a frequent visitor at all of the conferences. I get a chance to see him at least, I want to say, Nick, what, like 5, 6, 7 times a year at various conferences?
Yeah, definitely pre-COVID, 5, 6.
Well, we're going to talk about that just a little bit today. For anybody that's not familiar with Nick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to the seat that you're in today?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thanks for having me, Adam. I'm excited to be here, and I'll talk about myself for one quick second. So I've been in the industry for well over 35 plus years, working at a company originally called CLS, Commercial Legal Software. They are the original company who developed Collection Master, as well as the YGC product that people know and have used for many, many years. From there, we transitioned by buying a bunch of companies, Q Law Company, YGC morphed into that, Image Master, and Vertican became our corporate company under with all the companies under the umbrella. So I've been doing this my entire life, my whole career. And I started out on the road and training people how to use this technology and software. Then I got into business development. I started talking to people about solutions and sales even. And here I am 35 plus years later at Vertican Technology and loving every part of my job the way I did day one.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that you came all the way through the industry, with that same organization. Like I knew that you've been around longer than I have, but I knew that I've seen you at all of these conferences and you've been engaged in all of these different aspects of the industry, but didn't realize that that was kind of your growth pattern was within the same organization. That's super cool, especially as you guys have kind of, I don't want to say pieced together, but you guys have really kind of developed a full service solution or a lot of different products that you could ultimately offer to the same marketplace, which I think is super cool. I know that everybody has seen Vertican Technologies or a variety of the products that you guys are offering in the marketplace, but can you tell everybody just a little bit about Vertican and kind of like what products and services that you are bringing to the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Vertican, we help our clients to dramatically reduce cost to collect while increasing compliance for legal networks and law firms. That's really it. We develop software, we develop automation tools and technology for our industry.
Okay. And you are a very personable individual, which is why we always end up hanging out at every conference, including the recent RMAI summit in Vermont. And one of the conversations that you and I were having over there, I thought was really interesting. And it was about the effects of COVID on the relationship building, because sales is one thing, but our style of sales is not your average, used car salesman, right? Our style of sales is actually developing real relationships with people, a consultative approach to helping them identify the products and services that they ultimately need to solve their internal problems. And I really enjoyed that conversation, which is why I thought this was something that we could kind of talk about on a roundtable. So can you tell us a little bit about how COVID has impacted, you personally and kind of like your process at Vertican?
Yeah, this is a really, really good point. So Vertican Technologies, we live by something called the Rockefeller habits, the checklists, right? I have a copy of the book that we live by. This is our Bible.
I'll be ordering later today. I already wrote it down in my notebook.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's called Scaling Up. And in here, in the book here, you'll learn the Rockefeller Habits Checklist created by John D. Rockefeller 100 years ago. There are 10 fundamental habits that support our strategy. And specifically, I'm going to point out Rockefeller habit number 6, which is gathering client feedback and input. And they used a bullet line: reporting and analysis of customer feedback data is as frequent and as accurate as financial data. That's how serious Rockefeller took this information. And we live by this rule, number 6, the rock habit, number 6 here. And what it really means is that, all executives at Vertican are connected to our feedback, right? It means conversations are shared at our weekly executive meetings. All employees are really involved in collecting this feedback. And then we have a response team in place for closing the loop on the feedback that we get. So this habit is critical to our strategy here. So how did that impact COVID? Well, building relationships, as you just said, is our primary focus. So we had to pivot, right? How do we build relationships when everyone's on Zoom or on lockdown or something like that? So yeah, we had to pivot a little bit. So we shifted to Zoom. And I want to say, our marketing team has maximized technology to provide us with the ability to connect to these clients of ours and gather this feedback. We've done things like social gatherings over Zooms. I've shipped bottles of wine and had wine tasting events with clients over Zoom. We have virtual happy hours over Zoom. We've had theme games over Zoom. All, it's put together here to capture our clients' feedback so that we can meet the needs of the changing industry that we all work in today here. And I would say that's the number one reason how COVID has impacted us. There's nothing like FaceTime, right? Getting out on the road, as well as I do, talking to somebody FaceTime one-on-one, not like this with a camera, but being at a real event.
Being in person, absolutely, right? Like hanging out by the fire pit at a conference and having an opportunity to actually interact with your friends and colleagues, because we've all been traveling to all of these cities for so many years at the same time. I was trying to explain it to one of my non-industry friends the other day, and they're like, why do you get so excited about these conferences? I'm like, I'm going to see all my friends. They're like, I don't understand. And I said, well, look, you got to understand, whether we're competitors, we're friends, we're allies, we're working together, we're in the same company, whatever the case may be with that individual. I've been to 100 different cities with them. I've been on 100 different adventures with them. And I think that's one of the things that's really unique about our business and our industry on the whole. But there's nothing like that face-to-face interaction. I mean, that was the hardest part of COVID for me, is that, most of my best friends are not necessarily local to the Port St. Lucie area. They're in Chicago, Atlanta, DC, Detroit, New Orleans, right? Like, people are everywhere because that's how our industry is built. But we do really come together in very much a family type of environment, and missing that face-to-face interaction is challenging.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're probably very similar to me in that when you go to an RMAI conference or an industry show on the road, it's like going to a wedding, right?
Yeah, that's the best analogy I've heard. I like that.
It's like you walk in and it's like, oh my God, my family, all of these people that for the last 35 plus years of my life are there. And that stopped with COVID, and so, that's where really the impact, because relationships are everything, right? New businesses formed from relationships. Ideas are formed from relationships. And if you're not out there face to face and talking with people and building relationships, you're not living that rock habit number 6 and gathering feedback that you need to. So that was critical for us.
150%. So I'm curious, one of the things that you talked about was kind of the Zoom games, right? And I've been to some of the happy hours and the other stuff, but what was your favorite game that you guys played that allowed you to kind of continue that relationship development, or even if it was not necessarily development of new relationships, but the solidification or the maintenance of your existing relationships?
So we had one event one time the marketing team put together, which was really key. So we didn't know who we were going to end up in a room with, but we were given a couple questions, basic questions like, what's your favorite color? What kind of food do you like? And this and that, to start conversations. Then we had an event and basically invited a lot of our clients to the event. Zoom kicked off right now, and our host and our marketing team said, okay, guys, you're ready. You're going to go out into your breakout session rooms right now. Ready, go. Bang. You go into a different room and you're with somebody.
Mhm.
And it's somebody, a client or somebody like that.
Was it one-on-one or was it a small group?
One-on-one.
Okay, one-on-one.
Yeah,
Awesome.
one-on-one. And it's, here you are. And, it could be somebody, in my area of business, like I'm dealing with executives to people using the software,
Mhm.
On these calls. So sometimes it's like, hey, I'm the collection master user, or I'm the Q law user out there. I got Nick on the phone, and I'll jump right in with, hey, what do you like about our software and this and that. And so it's good to get that interaction going and that
Mhm.
one-on-one FaceTime. And the marketing team gives us a period of time, like 5 minutes. And
Mhm.
quite often you find that 5 minutes, you're not done yet. You're like, so yeah, and I was using this thing, and all of a sudden, and bang, you're in back to that room, and it's over. It's like, so little things like that really, really have helped us with our relationship building and our management of that kind of information here.
That's fantastic. How did it affect kind of like your sales cycle, right? Did you find that your sales cycle became longer in terms of bringing in and onboarding a new client, or were you able to kind of maintain a similar pace and just kind of supplement that with the virtual environment?
So that's an interesting question. I will tell you, from a technology company standpoint, we did not miss a beat from, production standpoint of how our client success team operates every day, how we build software, how we deal with our day-to-day interactions. We didn't lose a step there because we were virtual already.
Yeah.
But yeah, no question, the sales cycle on new business is longer, right? You can't just get on a plane and fly out there and meet for 2 or 3 days. It's okay, I'll meet with you next week on Zoom, and then we'll have a follow-up meeting a week later, and so on. So yeah, it definitely has extended the sales cycle just a little bit. I will say that.
Now, what about the onboarding cycle, right? So once you've got somebody sold and they're now deploying this, was it easier for them to deploy in a virtual environment, or were you finding that they had more challenges to deploy in that environment?
I think we're past the challenges now for onboarding. I think that the world has shifted and pivoted so far into this remote world we're in right now, virtual world that we're in right now. We're past the challenges of onboarding, doing demonstrations with people and doing installations of software, client success and support, all that. Yeah, we're a technology company, so we're not even, affected anyway at all.
Did you find more people flocking towards your organization because you had that virtual environment available for them? So like if they've been doing on-premise forever, did you find that more people were interested in the level of technology that you were providing because you have these solutions that enable that work from home environment that maybe they didn't have the technology in place previously?
That's a great question. I think that what I really, really noticed is some of the, how do I phrase this the right way and be diplomatic at the same, some of the older firms that we've had, the firms that were in the dark ages. Hey,
legacy firms.
Yeah,
Legacy firms.
A legacy firm, we love them, but they are happy with what they have as far as software from 1998, and they don't think about updating it because they don't want to rock the boat, and it works every single day. And
they don't have to retrain everybody. I mean, there's so many reasons that somebody wants to stay in their comfort zone.
No question about it, and I don't blame them, right? Why rock the boat when everything's working really, really well? Well, one thing I noticed COVID did was all of these people came out of the woodwork and they needed to virtualize, right? They needed to go to a VMware type solution and have everybody work from home. So they had to upgrade software, and they had to, really count on us as their vendor to bring them into the new world, which is exciting.
Drag them into the new world, I think is how I would put it.
Yeah. And some of them came kicking and screaming, but they didn't have a choice. And, listen, the new world has its pros too, right? So being able to, log in from the RMAI in Vermont, like we were at, and, not miss a beat in my office, or, yeah, or other people that log in from home and do work every single day, there's an added benefit to that as well. So there's the plus side, and then the downside is the relationship management and the face-to-face side.
So, as we talk about face-to-face, I'll kind of talk about one of the challenges that I faced, as a sales professional or as somebody who was selling during the COVID time period, and in those conferences that I was able to attend, because there were a few conferences that were able to move forward, I couldn't tell who anybody was. Everybody's wearing a mask, and a couple people I can tell from their eyes, but if we're outside or something, or they're walking through and they got their sunglasses on, I'm at a loss. I mean, people I've known for 15 years are walking by me saying hi, and I was struggling. Did you have that same challenge like during that time period?
I did. I absolutely did, and a few people had to look, give me double and triple takes, and because I didn't respond right away with, "Oh, hi, John. Hey," it was like, "Well, you're getting so old that you forget who I am," and it's hard to tell. What
do you mean you don't know who I am?
Yeah, they're just like looking at me and I'm. Oh yeah, I couldn't tell right away with the mask on. Yeah, that was a challenge. That's a challenge. But I will tell you the other side of the coin there. Many times, at home and stuff, I would go to my local Home Depot shopping, this and that, and I would notice, my neighbor or something like that I did not want to talk to, and made sure I pulled the mask up a little higher.
Pull it up a little further. The upside of COVID, right? The upside. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So, anything else, any other insights that you can share with us about kind of what the future of this post-COVID world looks like from a Vertican perspective?
Well, so I'm hoping that, number one, right here, we're going into the fall right now. I will be at the RMAI conference at the end of this month, September. I think you'll be there as well. So I look forward to that conference, and I hope that we're not seeing more COVID and a slowdown coming up as we move into the fall here. And it's behind us, but I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's really behind us, but I'm hearing other things here. So I'm thinking it might take just a little bit longer to get out of this and back to what we remembered as FaceTime. That's an unfortunate thing, because I'm vaccinated. I get on the road, which is scary, right? They say social distancing, but you get on a plane and it's book solid.
Very distance. Yeah, no, I get it.
So I mean, I don't know if that answers the question. I'm hoping.
Well, and you guys are up in you're in New Jersey? Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that you guys are facing different challenges than we are down here in Florida. I mean, the masks have never really been as big of an issue down here. I mean, the first mask I put on was on my way to a conference.
Yeah. My family lives in Florida, so I couldn't get down there to visit them. A couple months back, and my parents are getting old, and I wanted to see them, and it's sad, and I wanted to go down there and spend some time with them, but they were like, "What are you talking about? It's fine. Come on down."
Well, that's exactly how Florida always is, though, right? Like it's a different kind of world down here. But that's interesting, and I really appreciate your insights today. For those of you that are watching, if you have any questions or want to leave some comments or share some of your stories about kind of sales in that COVID environment and how sales will be adjusted in the post-COVID world, feel free to leave a comment below. Both Nick and I will be responding to them on both YouTube and LinkedIn. If you have any additional topics that you'd like to see Nick and I talk about, or additional guests that you'd like to see me interview, including Isaac from Vertican Technologies at some point in the near future, leave a comment below. Let's talk about some of the different topics that you might like to see us cover with him as well. But until the next time, Nick, I can't wait to see you at another conference, man. I know that RMAI annual conference isn't coming up until February, but hopefully we'll see you either at the Atlanta event or one of the other smaller events that'll be happening through the end of the year.
Atlanta, I'll be there. September.
Awesome.
Yeah, at the end of September, I will be there.
Fantastic. Very much looking forward to seeing you there, my friend. And as always, I always learn a little bit of something from you in every conversation. So I really appreciate you coming on, having a chat with me today. But I look forward to seeing you in the near future. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam, for having me. This is great.